Hey guys, this is Camfrey15 and I'm back at it with another video for you guys. And I'm back with another What If episode review for you guys. And we are here discussing the season 1 season finale episode of What If, where it's the big culmination of all the past episodes we've watched of What If put into this episode, where we see characters like Captain Carter, T'Challa as Star-Lord, and several of the other characters we've seen in the past episodes show up to confront Ultron and, well, help the Watcher save the multiverse. I really liked this episode, and I did like, and I think this might be my favorite episode, but I did like this episode a lot. It was very entertaining, very fun, just very breathtaking. And if you saw my last week's review, I said, low key, honestly, if this was what Age of Ultron was supposed to be, this would have been an eventful movie. Not to say that, I kind of wish they kind of just saved this storyline, because technically the MCU could bring Ultron back, and they could have did the same storyline here, where it's a multiverse Ultron going around the multiverse, destroying different, multiverses and everything, and our main core of Avengers have to come together again. And it could have been a story where it's like, it's like the final end of the MCU type of thing, because then you can get all the ultimate, like, the multiverse characters in this. You could probably bring back all the old characters who seemingly retired from doing their roles and stuff like that. It would have been cool, to say the least, to make it like, okay, this is going to be the final MCU storyline. Now, they could always end up doing that in a way where it's like something super big, and they actually bring back the old characters, and that's be like, okay, this is it, MCU's done, and then we're probably going to reboot the whole thing all over again. Because eventually the MCU is going to get rebooted. Eventually, this hard work and dedication, it's all going to get rebooted at some point, where we're going to have new Captain America, new Iron Man, stuff like that, because as time goes on, they're just going to reboot it and make different stories as opposed to the originals, and stuff like that. So, hey, but this episode was good, to say the least. I liked how this episode was titled of What If the Watcher got involved, and essentially he got involved by going to all the different multiverses with all the previous heroes we've seen on in the past few episodes and what they've been doing. Like, for example, we see Agent Carter, where she's at currently in the time, and her time is from the standpoint she's in essentially the Winter Soldier timeline at the start of that movie. I did like the start where, seemingly, her and Black Widow are actually like legit BFFs, essentially. And I did like that whole scene. And Star-Lord in the T'Challa as Star-Lord, essentially we see that, well, guess what? He actually saves Peter Quill from obviously Ego, the living planet, trying to take him and stuff like that. And we see how they all get intervened into doing this. Now, especially with the Thor little timeline episode, he was fighting Ultron robots, so I'm guessing that somehow it would explain and makes things sound better. It's still, the only problem there is just it was the Watcher standpoint. But yeah, essentially they all come together, and the Watcher says, like, listen, this Ultron is trying to destroy the entire multiverse. I've called you guys all here to save the multiverse, and if you guys can't do it, well, then we're all screwed and we're all dead. So listen, we need to take the stones from him and be able to stop him. So eventually what happens is, they kind of lure him into one of the multiverses, which is where the Black Widow, the one where Ultron destroyed from the jump, and everything. And I like the whole fight where, all of them come together and stuff like that, and they fight again. It was just, it looked really good for an animated show. It looked really good, and it's like, man, if this was only live action. But I did know that some of these characters from What If, they might actually appear in Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness. And I think they said the leading charge that's probably, I think, a definite go in the movie is Captain Carter. So we'll probably see Haley Atwell playing Peggy Carter again, but this time as Captain Carter, essentially the opposite of Captain America. Now I don't know if that's the case, or they're gonna do like her own like solo movie for her. It would be cool to say the least. But that's something that Marvel has to come up with. But I think I did hear that Captain Carter is a definite go. If not, they can also, and like I said, they might not do a solo movie of her, but if they want to do more Captain Carter, they could do maybe a Disney Plus TV show and stuff like that. Very interesting where they could go. And stuff like that. But I did like the whole thing after they defeat Ultron, because what they did is they essentially used the whole virus from crap, I'm forgetting the one dude, the one Hydra guy. Well, you know from last episode and stuff like that. Which I loved how Peggy Carter was shocked. He's like, "What? The guy's still alive?" And Black Widow's like, "Yeah, Hydra's still a thing." After we thought they were originally taken down. And I like how I knew it's like you can't trust Killmonger, and Killmonger literally takes the stones and he's trying to I guess flirt with the idea of the other heroes, like, listen guys, you guys can get everything you want and I can do it, but listen, you can't really trust Killmonger, because Killmonger will literally stab you in the back and try to only get his goals and aspirations for anything. That's why I was like, why are we trusting Killmonger so easily? But then that's when we see, obviously, the one dude essentially try to take the stones back and try, and I'm like, that's probably not good in that case, because he'll have the stones. So essentially what happens is the Watcher essentially makes a pocket dimension where Doctor Strange Prime is holding on to and watching and making sure it doesn't break. I'm guessing if it breaks, it could like literally just shatter the entire multiverse. And yeah, so essentially all the multiversal heroes, they go back to their own time or their own multiverse, or I guess you can say their own Earth in a sense. And you have it to where the one Black Widow that's from the Earth that Ultron just utterly destroyed, actually gets sent to a multiverse, where it was the one multiverse episode after Loki tried to take over. Loki tried to take over. I think it was from like the 3rd or 4th episode. It was the episode that Black Widow goes to the episode, or goes to the multiverse with the episode after Hank Pym was evil to try to get revenge on Shield for obviously Hope, and we saw Loki come in and try to take over, and then that's when they that's when at the end of the episode Nick Fury called Captain Marvel, and then at the same time also revived Captain America. That's how and Black Widow joins that universe, and I like how she shows up and essentially Nick Fury's like, you're not my Black Widow, but hey, I'll take it. So that Black Widow's happy. It's funny too, because really, if you think about it, that Black Widow could have been put in the main MCU timeline, and that would have been very, very strange, especially with the whole Hawkeye show coming up, which is the next Disney Plus show that's going to be coming out next. Especially with the whole end credit scene with Black Widow. I guess I'll keep that spoilers for now, but again, I probably shouldn't, because it's like you should have seen the movie. The movie's on Disney Plus too, so if you haven't seen Black Widow, you can go see it on Disney Plus for free now. But it would have been interesting if they put Black Widow in the main MCU timeline. But then again, I understand why they didn't do that, because it's like, I think, we're out of the phase so far. And then we're at this point in the main MCU timeline where, we're gonna just leave the old main MCU characters just alone, let them do what they need to do, and hey, if they want to come back down the line, if we have a project and they're open to coming back, then yeah, I think it's gonna be a while before we see characters like actors like Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and even Scarlett Johansson, who finished the settlement with Disney, and it seems like her and Disney are all cool again, so that means we will probably be getting Black Widow sometime in the near future again. Natasha Romanoff, not in the near future, but in maybe 5, 6, 7 years down the road, I could see them coming back for a special, one-time movie cameo where they're in it, based on the story and stuff like that. I think it's going to be a while before we see them. Like, I have a vision that Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, and any other old character who's left the MCU for now, I have a feeling that they're going to come back at some point. I definitely do think Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. will come back for at least maybe one more movie, and they'll be like, okay, this is it. This is the final one. I'm done. I'm not going to do it no more. But, you know, it's going to be interesting. Essentially, they all go back. We get an end credits scene, which is, I guess, is going to tie into season 2, where when Peggy Carter comes back, Black Widow shows her essentially a storage area, and it has the Hydra robot, and essentially Black Widow's like, well, there's somebody in there as well. So I guess we're led to believe that Steve Rogers is somehow in there. I'm guessing he's been preserved in the Hydra Destroyer. I don't know, but that's gonna definitely be a tie-in to next season, I'm guessing. Also, there was Gamora with the Thanos armor on with a Tony Stark. I think that's gonna be an episode saved for season 2 as well. Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to say the least. But yeah. But I really did like What If. It definitely had ties into the main MCU, even though some people said, this is probably just some sort of spin-off thing and stuff like that for fun. But no, if you watch the Loki series, this had ties into the Loki series. And especially with the standpoint that some of these characters might show up in the Multiverse of Madness movie with Doctor Strange 2, it definitely shows that, no, this movie has MCU implications as well. So yeah, but other than that, the next MCU show is Hawkeye, and I definitely can't wait to see that from the standpoint, especially what the end credit scene from Black Widow was, and if that certain character is going to make an appearance in the film or in the TV show. But yeah, I'm very looking forward to that. I don't know when Hawkeye's coming out, but it's going to be very interesting to see. But other than that, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day or no channel this video. So if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on What If, and hit that subscribe button if you want to get more MCU content or anything related to any other movies and stuff I upload to the channel. I'll probably put at the end of the video, I recently reviewed Venom 2 Let There Be Carnage, so if you want to get my thoughts on that, I'll leave that in my outro. But other than that, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. So hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day or not even check out this video. Till then, guys, peace.